Oh, great. Got another article here from the South China Morning Post talking about, oh yes, the ubiquitous taxis found in Hong Kong. So basically the article is saying that the Hong Kong government, which is in charge of the transport department, which is in charge of the taxis in Hong Kong, basically, the police went undercover because, there aren't that many murders or actual crimes to solve. Went undercover and found out that, yes, taxi drivers are a big bunch of losers generally, and that many of them overcharge and many of them do refuse fares. So basically, what is a refusal of a fare? Well, refusing fares is quite simple. You want to go to point B. The guy says, I don't go there, and then he drives away, probably with the door still half open. Overcharging, also very simple. Going from A to B should cost, $10. The guy ends up charging you $20 or $30. So very simple. The fact that anyone would do this, well, obviously they're not very good people. But let's go to the article and find out what it says. So the number of taxi drivers hit with a summons for refusing a hire almost tripled from 49 to 125 between the years 2014 and 2015. Now, what number did actually triple is the number of cabbies arrested for overcharging. And they actually had a specific case where recently this Friday, a 49-year-old taxi driver, and I'm not really sure why they don't put down the name, because if the taxi driver is being a jerk, just let everybody know about it. But basically, he charged $100 for something that should cost about $30 to $40. And he also didn't display his driver identity plate. Okay. At the end of the article, it talks about how many complaints there are, or were. And actually, a couple years ago, it topped over 10,000 with the first time the number has hit that many digits. Wow, quite amazing. And then it also talks about some other statistics here where refusing hires jumped to almost 2,500 from about 611 years prior, and overcharging jumped almost quintuple as well. And case of taxi drivers not taking the most direct route climbed to 1,731 from 890. So from all this gobbledygook, what can you gather from all this information? Well, this is what is happening. Lately, in the last year or two, there have been more and more complaints about the taxi service in Hong Kong. And it's not only in Hong Kong, it's a worldwide phenomenon. Generally, taxis in the past, there's a lot of competition, and there are many companies looking for your business. But now, in the last 20 or 30 years, basically it's being controlled by a very few select group of people. And in Hong Kong and in other cities, it's no different. So basically, there's a monopoly on the taxis. You don't have a choice. Now, lately in the last year or two, things like Uber, and in Hong Kong, there's something called GoGo Van, where private individuals have set up apps, and basically you're able to coordinate with other private individuals, and you're able to put into your phone and say, okay, I'm here, can you pick me up? And people respond within a few minutes. And you can do other things too, like you can actually pay more money to garner more attention to your request, so you can get more, you can get people replying to you more quickly. So it's very, it's quite neat. Lots of ingenuity went into it, and a lot of people have been adopting it en masse in the last few years. And so I mentioned 6 months ago that because of this, governments across the world, including China and in Hong Kong, have been trying to ban Uber. Basically, because it's so good that taxi drivers haven't been able to make as much money as in the past. And estimates vary from them losing about 10 to 20% of the fares that they used to be able to garner before the advent of these companies. So if you think about what a company generally does when they're losing market share, companies generally try to innovate. They try to think of new products. So maybe they would give you, a better service, or they would give you a new vehicle. Maybe they could do special delivery services. I'm not sure. If they're not really that innovative, maybe they just cut prices. Maybe they give you discounts or deals, or maybe they do co-branding. So they could give you a VIP card. So the more you took the taxi, you would get points. There's a million things that companies could do in this case to get more business. But because this is the heavy hand of the state, it's just the government. Basically, the government says, we can't compete. So what we need to do is we need to eliminate all the competition. So there can't be Uber, there can't be any of these other guys. And that doesn't make any sense. Because if the taxis are the only show in town, and I don't agree with that, but if for whatever reason that's the case, then they can't refuse fares and they can't overcharge because they're the only show in town. But because the monopoly of power here has led to a lot of bloated egos and where taxi drivers think they can do whatever the fuck they want, that has driven a wedge between them and the taxi travelers. And so in the last few years, like I've mentioned, many people have began to choose to opt out. And now they're choosing all these very ingenious ways of traveling around the city without hailing a taxi. So I don't think the government is going to do anything smart here. I don't think they're going to go, well, maybe we should just let Uber exist and then we'll figure it out later. No, what they're probably going to try to do is they're probably just going to crack down more on Uber, make sure that the taxi drivers are somehow obeying the laws. Maybe they'll just raise the prices of all the taxis. I don't know. But whatever the government solution is going to be, it can't be good. It never was good. If it was, then my video 6 months ago would have been invalidated even before I had made that video. But no, they're not going to do anything like that. So all your Uber fans out there, this just totally justifies what you're doing. But hopefully the government is too slow and too stupid to actually do anything to it.